What if I told you that one of the greatest drivers in Formula One history, the man who has rewritten record books, stood on more podiums than almost anyone, and captured 7 world championships, now finds himself stuck in the longest drought of his career? That's the reality for Lewis Hamilton in 2025. After making his high-profile move to Ferrari, many fans expected fireworks, but instead, we've seen struggle, frustration, and a shocking lack of results. 14 races in, not a single podium finish. It's the kind of storyline that nobody could have predicted for a driver of Hamilton's caliber. And yet, here we are, fans watching closely, asking the big question. Can Lewis Hamilton finally break free from this drought and return to the podium before the season ends? Let's lay out the numbers. In 2025, Hamilton has started 14 races for Ferrari. His best result? 4th place, achieved at Imola, Austria, and most recently at his home race, the British Grand Prix. For almost any other driver on the grid, those results would be considered solid, maybe even career highlights. But for Hamilton, who has 202 podiums to his name, this is uncharted territory. It's the first time in his career that he has gone through an entire first half of the season without a single podium finish. Even more alarming, he hasn't stood on the podium at all in his last 16 races, dating back to his final months at Mercedes in late 2024, when he finished second at the Las Vegas Grand Prix. What's gone wrong? The spotlight has been shining brightly on Ferrari's car performance. While the Scuderia has shown flashes of pace, especially in qualifying, the consistency just hasn't been there. One particular sticking point for Hamilton has been the braking system. Ferrari uses Brembo brakes, whereas Hamilton spent years mastering the feel of carbon industry brakes at Mercedes. The difference may sound small, but for a driver who relies on precision down to the millisecond, it can completely change confidence behind the wheel. At the Hungarian Grand Prix, Hamilton's struggles came to a head. He qualified only 12th, later describing himself as useless, and even went as far as suggesting that Ferrari might need another driver. That moment in Hungary was eye-opening. Hamilton, known for his resilience and mental toughness, openly expressed doubt about his role within Ferrari. It wasn't just a bad day at the office. It was a reflection of how frustrated he's become with the car and the team's inability to deliver the performance he expects. During the race, things got even worse. He finished 12th, a full lap down. For a man who has spent years at the front of the field, fighting for wins and titles, being lapped is nothing short of humiliating. Still, Hamilton confirmed afterward that he will continue racing, with his eyes on the Dutch Grand Prix after the summer break. And here's where it gets interesting. Despite all the struggles, despite the drought, despite the visible frustration, the fans still believe. A recent poll revealed that nearly 3/4 of voters, 72.8% to be exact, are confident that Hamilton will score at least one podium before the season is over. That kind of faith shows just how much respect and trust fans have in him. The majority of respondents predicted that he would only manage one podium this season, with that outcome pulling in just under 32% of the votes. But a significant portion still think he could do more. On the flip side, about 22.7% of fans believe the nightmare will continue and Hamilton won't see a podium at all in 2025. When you think about Hamilton's career, the fan support makes sense. This is a driver who has come back from setbacks time and time again. He's endured tough seasons, dealt with mechanical failures, controversial race endings, and still risen to the top. The idea that Hamilton, with all his experience, skill, and determination, could finish an entire season without a single podium feels almost unthinkable. And that's exactly why so many fans are betting that he'll find a way, even if it's just once, to climb back up onto that podium step before the year is done. But this isn't just about one man. It's also about Ferrari, one of the most iconic teams in motorsport history. For years, Ferrari fans have been desperate for a championship, or at the very least, consistent podium finishes. Signing Hamilton was supposed to be the spark that reignited the team's glory days. Instead, what we've seen so far looks like a step backward. Ferrari's car has pace in certain conditions, but it struggles with tire wear, braking consistency, and race day strategy. And when you add in the adjustment period for a driver moving from a team like Mercedes, where everything was fine-tuned to his liking, to Ferrari, it creates a storm of difficulties. For Hamilton personally, the challenge is psychological as much as it is mechanical. This is a man who thrives on momentum. When things are going well, he's unstoppable, stringing together wins, putting pressure on rivals, and feeding off the energy of the crowd. But when the results dry up, it tests every ounce of patience and confidence. His comments in Hungary weren't just frustration, they were raw honesty. And while some may see that as a sign of weakness, others view it as proof that Hamilton still demands the best from himself and his team. That hunger, that refusal to settle, is exactly why so many still back him to turn things around. Looking at the calendar ahead, there are opportunities for Hamilton to end this drought. Races like Singapore, where driver skill plays a huge role, or Mexico, where Ferrari's straight-line speed could provide an advantage, may present the perfect chance for him to break through. Even the unpredictable conditions at tracks like Brazil or Japan could create chaos that works in Hamilton's favor. After all, podiums aren't always about outright pace. They can also come from strategy, luck, or simply avoiding mistakes when others falter. And if there's anyone who knows how to seize those chances, it's Lewis Hamilton. Of course, the competition won't make it easy. Red Bull, McLaren, and even Mercedes have all shown strong performances this season, making the fight for the top 3 positions extremely tough. Drivers like Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, and George Russell are pushing hard every weekend, and Hamilton now finds himself fighting just to get close to them. In a way, this is the most human we've seen Hamilton in years. For so long, he was untouchable, always at the front, always a threat. Now, he's battling just to get back into the mix, and that's created a new kind of drama for fans to follow. The bigger picture here is legacy. Hamilton doesn't need another podium to prove his greatness. His career already speaks for itself. 7 world titles, over 100 wins, more than 200 podiums. But athletes at his level don't think like that. They don't want to coast on past glory. They want to prove again and again that they're still capable of fighting at the highest level. That's what makes this drought so painful for Hamilton, but also so fascinating for fans. Because when he does eventually break it, that podium celebration will mean more than many of the ones that came before. So what does the future hold? If Hamilton can secure even a single podium this season, it would go a long way toward restoring confidence, both in himself and within Ferrari. It would also give fans a reminder that this partnership still has potential. But if the drought continues, the questions will only get louder. Did Hamilton make the wrong move leaving Mercedes? Can Ferrari ever give him a car capable of competing? And how much longer is Hamilton willing to wait for success? These are the questions that will define not just the second half of the season, but possibly the rest of his career. In the end, the Lewis Hamilton story in 2025 isn't about failure, it's about resilience. Every great athlete faces moments of struggle, and this is his. The fans who still believe in him are holding on to more than statistics. They're holding on to the idea that greatness doesn't just disappear. That even when the car isn't perfect, even when the odds are stacked against him, Hamilton can dig deep and deliver. Whether it happens in the very next race or at the final round of the season, one thing is for sure, the world will be watching, waiting for the moment when Lewis Hamilton climbs back onto that podium and reminds us all why he's one of the greatest to ever do it.